8, we're taking a look at our second day of games, and we're going to hop into a great one. Trent Pax, my wonderful man, how you doing?
Oh, feeling great. Starting off day 2, Virtus.pro versus Secret, and both teams kind of surprisingly need a couple wins here, especially Secret.
Yeah.
And with the start they had, some of the, I guess, harder to rank teams like VGJ Storm, I think, are a little bit of a wild card. You're not sure if they're up or they're down a bit. Definitely some high hopes coming for them, and they performed very well. So we can just hop right into the picks.
Ready to go as we are hopping into this game at number 1. You talk about the sort of things that we saw yesterday from them. Secret getting 2-0'd by VGJ Storm. Certainly not a bad team, but I think that not a lot of people were expecting to come in and 2-0 Secret.
Yeah, exactly.
And then afterwards, both of these teams were losing a match to Serenity. And everybody that picks Serenity as one of those up-and-comers, good for you.
Yeah, that's right. But I mean, that means Secret are now 1-3 in the group stage, and now they're coming into the Juggernaut. One of considered like the top 2 teams, honestly, at TI. You put Liquid and Virtus.pro right next to one another. I think deservedly so.
I mean, LGD might have some words with you, but it's those 3, definitely. And I think that my thought with VP always is on any given day, they could be the best team in the world. And, if they play their best, they're not going to lose. The problem is sometimes they don't play their best. Sometimes they get a little bit too ahead of themselves.
Sometimes they pick Sven. It happens to the best of us. We fall back into those old habits. But Virtus.pro have shown quite a few different things in their openers so far this tournament. A lot of it was the silencer. They got that in 2 of their 4 games. That's going to be banned out this time, as it has been banned out in the first phase for most of the matches we've been casting. I feel like silencer just getting shut out. No thank you. And they're going to go for this tiny first pick overall. A nice flexible core, or possibly support hero.
Yeah, I think that it's been... I think I've seen it more often than not in the mid lane now. Leading up to this event, it was most notably played by Fnatic. We're playing it in the off lane. But I like the pick because it also sort of deals with some of the other cheese just inherently out of the first round. Like, you don't want to run a Broodmother into this. They tried it yesterday on Liquid, and they got completely destroyed. So that's something to watch for, as we are going to have the second pick now coming out in the Vengeful Spirit. It's a hero we love.
Yep. Always happy to see that.
Yeah. So we're talking about this. It's like leading up to TI this year, it was one of the longest breaks that we've had in between the competitive season and the start of the international. And so in competitive play, we didn't get to see a lot of these, except if you're talking about some of these like tier 2 tournaments that were happening in the interim, right? So we saw a couple of these like lanes. Do you want to just talk about why this is so strong, the Venge Weaver?
I mean, for example, Vengeful Spirit went completely unpicked or banned at the summit.
Right.
She was a complete non-factor hero, and now suddenly she's showing up in several of our games at TI. So there's been a lot of evolution since the previous matches at like that top of the pro scene. But in this case, there's just a lot of physical damage. And I don't know if you know, but Tiny, this guy, he actually has 0 armor. So it turns out that it's pretty handy for those first levels before his ultimate to have some serious physical damage and minus armor up against the guy. Now, will they be in lane against him? Maybe not, but even throughout the game, he is someone you can kind of target down with that.
Totally. And even when he gets his ulti, it's not like a ridiculous amount. But oh my goodness, Virtus.pro going crazy. It's a second pick Broodmother.
So they've done this already, this tournament. And like, if you are going to first phase a Brood, so this is what happens. They play against Optic, they first phase Brood. They take it just like this. They go 1, and then the 4th pick, they take the Broodmother. They win that game. So what happens the next 2 games? Everyone starts first phase banning the Brood. So you come into this match, Secret doesn't ban your Brood. You guys say, respect me. You got to respect us and ban this Brood, or we're going to take it first phase until we lose with it. So Secret need to be the ones to stop this trend, or it's going to be a very sticky TI.
That sounds... Oh, God. Can you imagine if you just have to first phase Brood? Like, that has to feel the worst thing possible. So Team Secret need to come up with an answer, and maybe this is one of the downsides, too, to having this Venge Weaver combo, is that it's very strong in a lane when it's a normal game, but Brood makes it not a normal game. It's just a complete and total shift.
Yeah, Brood is, it's Brood. So, I mean, what can you say, right? They're going to get rid of some annoying support heroes now. It's like we've got both cores picked out here from Virtus.pro, taking care of that Dark Willow, someone who can actually try and control up a Weaver. You have that giant AoE from the Terrorize. It's fairly likely you're going to hit him, and then when he's feared up like that, it just doesn't allow you to make any of your plays with Shikuchi or with time-lapse, and suddenly you die.
No. Not a good time, for sure. Meepo also banned out Team Secret. potentially could have ran that. Ace is obviously a very proficient player on that hero.
Are you
So,
suggesting it's his ace in the hole?
hey, you did it. You did the thing.
I try,
That's
Gotta,
great.
gotta bring up the big guns when you're on the mainstream, VP
Absolutely.
secret. Clearly.
One thing I will say about the Broodmother is sort of a negative is that it does feel like you kind of lack the team fight, and that's something that the Dark Willow would give you. So I'm kind of looking for Virtus.pro to maybe pick up a couple of those heavy team fighting supports. Maybe not necessarily a Shaker, because that make their lanes look weird, but something like that. And yeah, the Wyvern ban out in it too. Those are the greatest out of the 5.
Yeah, pretty much the best hope that you're going to have with like 0 economy but big impact. So solid choices there. Will we get ourselves a Yapsor hero here, or do they want to just grab something for Fada? You'd imagine it'd be something for Yapsor, unless they're also thinking things like, okay, what are we going to give mid one? Like, how does he handle this Broodmother? How can we actually survive? I know Optic tried the Monkey King, which a lot of teams have done before in the past. You can just get up into the stacks with your Jingu and then use your Boundless Strike to actually just kill all the spiders and everything. And then the other, you already mentioned, the other success we saw was the Tiny versus the Brood, but Virtus.pro have set themselves up very well in the draft by going for this Tiny first. So looked like they were coming in this one ready for the Broodmother.
And one of the other ones that we've seen, I think, occasionally is a Kunkka. It feels kind of weird to take it 3rd pick overall, but you also would imagine that Virtus.pro aren't necessarily going to take another core. Conceivably, they could, but it would be a little bit strange to pick all 3 of your cores going into the first 3 picks. But that's what Brood does. It makes things weird. So that's a possibility. I feel like Team Secret probably don't want to reveal mid one's hero this early, but if they feel like it's a good pick, then they might do it.
The other frustrating part about playing against Broodmother is that it doesn't really matter what sort of a matchup you go for, because the Broodmother is just going to kind of ignore you, right? Like, if the matchup is really bad and it's some hero that absolutely dumpsters the Broodmother, then Brood's just going to spend more time in the jungle, more time at the Ancients, and still get farmed, and then you're changing your team dynamic based off of a single hero on the enemy side for Virtus.pro. I do like this, though. Big fan of the Earth Spirit here. And that's team fight. We were thinking about team fight for Virtus.pro, but that is team fight and a single hero here now for Secret.
Yeah, this is great. This is the thing that we were gushing over yesterday, how cool it was to see it. And instead, it's going to be Virtus.pro to take the Kunkka. All right. All hands aboard as we are getting ready to go on a wild ride of a VP draft. And this could conceivably also be a position 4 hero.
We'll just pick all of the heroes that are okay versus Brood. We'll take every last one. Solid strategy here.
Do you think that Secret wanted it themselves?
Nah, not necessarily. I don't think it'd be worth like picking it like that. I think it's just solid control element versus the Weaver. You have the big damage mitigation coming out from the Ghost Ship that's really nice against Earth Spirit. Kind of whittles down anything he can do with Magnetize.
Ooh.
Alright, that's an interesting answer. A Secret Classic. I know their coach, Sunby, loves Bristleback. He's big on the hero. I think he's always interested in trying to make it work, and Fata has also played in the past there too. So I think Fata or Ace could be on this, depending on which one wants to take this Weaver. Probably going to be an Ace Weaver, I would assume, in a Fata Bristleback. And we've already seen several teams switching up who is to go mid when we run into this Broodmother, so we'll be likely sending the Bristle there.
This is really cool. It still is somewhat synergistic with their draft. You talk about minus armor, Vicious Nasal Goo, amazing for that. A ton of physical damage out there. And then you've also got that Earth Spirit to be the control factor. So, yeah, this feels like a very measured response from Team Secret that doesn't necessarily dismantle what they were trying to do before, but it still has the answers for this Brood.
Yeah, maybe they have enough mobility. I don't know. There's a lot of pressure right now, I would say, on the Earth Spirit in their draft. Just like the only AoE sort of stuns, and you have to control up for this Weaver and this Bristleback, because Bristleback, he loves just like the rundown after a fight.
Right.
If he could go the speed of a Bloodseeker, he would be very happy. That would make him like the best hero ever, but he can't. He's a little bit slow, so you definitely need a little bit of catch, a little bit of reach, as they say. The cool kids. So. Some extra mobility. I tend to think of like Ember Spirit as a hero that can do that for you, and it is sort of a classic for Team Secret. Could theoretically be an option here for them.
Yeah, the last time these two teams met, the one game that Team Secret was able to win, they were playing an Ember Spirit. So could be something that they look towards. It's going to be a Bane. This is just, what Solo does. He's going to do this until the end of time.
Man, I remember at the Super Major, Solo had the single greatest performance on Bane I have ever seen in my life. No one else. I've never seen a game where Nightmare was used to save people so many times and have such a absolutely massive impact. And you got to watch out for that when you play up against this guy. Because you think you're going to hit someone with this nuke, and somehow he saves it every single time. You get yourself some cast range, the Aether Lens on top of it, and it feels like no matter where you are, if you try and initiate on someone, there's just this nightmare.
Right. Well, and then also I mean, it's too many targets now for like a Lincoln's to be effective in a way. I feel like Weaver is this hero that doesn't want to get the single target lockdown. If you either break it with like Nightmare or whatever, then there's going to be an X follow up potentially.
Yeah.
So Lincoln's, while it is definitely feels like it's going to be necessary because of the single target disables, they've also got Tiny in there. Like Weaver could be running into some issues.
Yeah, this looks like a sick Tiny game at this point. And this was a first pick hero, which is really interesting. But now you can run this as an offlane for Pasha, and he can build into a Silver Edge potentially, and have a way to deal with the Bristleback, have a way to initiate on top of that Weaver, just blow him up. Uh, they could also just throw it onto someone else and go back from one of these more classic Pasha heroes, kind of like Team Fighter Space Makers, like the Pango or something. But I tend to think it is going to be Pasha Tiny. I think it just looks like way too good of a game for it.
So often we talk about Virtus.pro being this team that is sort of going in for a lot of different, like they have one main hero that they need to play around. Is that Pasha this game, do you think, or maybe something we see soon?
Probably the Ramses Broodmother. In a sense, it's the Ramses Broodmother, like because the whole game's kind of based around it. But in terms of like making space around the Brood, then yeah, it's probably gonna be Pasha. He'll be on that Shadowblade Tiny. He's gonna be looking to make some fights going.
Okay.
5 seconds
We're still just kind of waiting on this no one hero. I do think Secret are prepping for the Ember with the OD. Now, on the other way is that they also lost to that OD in their last match at the Super Major. That was what ended up winning the game because the constant saves and the Astrals were being done by no one. So maybe they just got a good memory for that one. Plus, it can mess with the Bristleback during team fights. But I'd probably just ban Ember if I was Secret. Or sorry, VP. But Bloodseeker, kind of similar too. Does give you that chase down potential. And Ember also has problems in the laning phase, so depending on what this last hero is, if they're just picking a third, like, pretty strong laner, then maybe they're just like, okay, go ahead. Bring us the Ember.
Yeah. They feel like they can play against it. Because I think that there was one of the games in those series they played against each other where they also were able to deal with it. And Ember feels like the type of hero that you can sort of game plan around it and make your map movements more effective to shut down the Ember, more so even just the heroes you have. If you have a really good movement around the map. But it's going to be a Mirana.
Okay, just kind of like middle of the ground sort of hero. Combos up very nicely with the Bane and the Kunkka. Very nice little kill trio going on here.
So either way, whether it's a core Kunkka or a core Mirana, I feel like this is going to be a great game for both of them because you got great setup with the Nightmare. Either Nightmare into Torrent or Nightmare into Arrow. Either one is going to be a lot of damage and potentially a kill.
Yeah, I think it's definitely going to be core Mirana, though. I think Roger's just really good on the Kunkka. And Secret go back for the DK. So very safe laning option. Something Mid One has already played once this tournament, I believe. And it does give them someone else who can lane versus the Brood. So they've got two heroes now with the Bristle and the DK.
All right, well, game number 1 underway. It's the second day of the TI-8 group stage, Secret versus Virtus.pro, and Secret really trying to get something going here. As we talked about right at the beginning of the broadcast, they're sitting 1-3. They lost 2-0 to VGJ Storm, and then they ended up losing a game to Serenity as well. And Virtus.pro looking to stay good as well themselves. I mean, they lost one game to Serenity. I don't think that they kind of wish that they would have gotten that one back, but it happens.
Yeah, and it looks like with the pickups, it'll be Mid One taking the Bristle. So I guess they're just less comfortable with the idea of switching roles, but they're assuming that the Bristleback has to go mid, so just hand it to Mid One. And Fada's very familiar with Dragon Knight anyway, so it's just kind of whoever has to do that sort of a role in a game like this. And the Dragon Knight would have been the playmaker, right? He's the guy who probably has to go just blink into stunning to set up for fights. So it's probably better that you're more core like anchor player, carry us the game is on the Bristleback because this hero's going to want a lot of farm this game.
Okay. So big things to watch out for in this game. I'm assuming, obviously, the pressure that Ramses is able to apply throughout the game. What is he able to get done? Oftentimes we talk about Broodmother being a falling off hero. Do you think that's the case in this game?
I don't think there's any major concerns heading later, right? Tiny and Mirana feels pretty good. I think as long as they just have their momentum going, where you're looking towards those early Roches, Ramses just loves to get this medallion going. I don't know if he's going to opt in towards more of his classic build, where he just goes for like the Mask of Madness and the BKB, or if he's more into this new strategy where they have the medallion into the Diffusal Blade. Either way, he can either become this fighting Broodmother or more objective-based. It looks like in their earlier game, he did opt for the Diffusal, so he's kind of into this new strat as well.
Okay.
And finished the game at 12-3 and 14 in their win. So.
And I remember back in the day when we were talking about Diffusal Broodmother and just everybody was hating on it, but now everybody's doing it.
Okay, well, it wasn't the item's fault, I will say. In hindsight, the spiders were not spidering in some of those games.
Okay. Well, Can't do predictions right now, but we are going to be hopping into this game number 1 and an early smoke out from Virtus.pro, as they are going to be trying to get down some wards and possibly find themselves a kill. Again, Nightmare set up so deadly if you're able to follow it, and they have all the heroes in the world to make it happen.
Yeah, you can see Ramsey's coming mid too, just getting his web down.
Oh,
Also,
one.
the other good part about running like that is that you can scout out if someone's smoked and trying to ward for your mid.
Thought there for a second that they're going to find mid one, but he does back out at the last second and is able to escape the clutches of a solo Nightmare. Yeah, Roger doesn't look like he's going to be able to spot any warding going down, as there was one placed in the bottom lane for Secret, as well as another one up there to the top side. And that kind of an interesting ward there. Gives some really good vision just sneaking through those trees.
And lanes appear to be pretty much exactly what you'd expect. This Earth Spirit tends to come up into the off lane, try and get a kill with the Venge and the Weaver, and then one of the two will rotate down bottom with the DK, more than likely. I think it might end up being the Venge. It kind of depends on how the first couple kills go, but
Yeah.
they've now made that aggressive maneuver, and they're going to secure both runes up top. But similarly down bottom, they'll get the both runes for Virtus.pro.
Trade-off begins, and looks like Secret going to be bringing a couple of their supports up there to see if they can harass, as we do see mid lane, mid one, just start to move over and get into position. So I'm not sure if maybe Yapsor and Puppy want to try and push back no one, but he's already under the tower, so he should be fine.
Yeah, perhaps hoping for a little bit harass as he came through with the lane, wave, but just nothing. And we're going to attempt this instant kill.
I mean, if nothing else, no one is not having a good time here.
Oh, Solo instantly dewards the ward they head back there. It's going to hurt them, and Yapsor will TP out.
All right, the backup and the runaway. Solo just hanging on to his tree as the wave of terror spam is going to continue. Now, this is a strong lane, particularly if you're just up against one person. Against two, I'm kind of curious to see how this is going to work.
Well, Shikuchi has all this value because you can pretty easily get on two heroes. Like, they have to split up a little bit there on Virtus.pro just to ensure that it's hard to last hit and harass both heroes with it. But similarly with the Wave of Terror, you can also kind of hit that on two heroes as well. So there's a lot of value right now in terms of the like mana to HP ratio. And there's not too much regen. There's only one set of tangos there on Solo, and then a salve and only one tango left now for no one.
We already talked about the armor issues that no one is going to have on this Tiny, although he did bring a stick into lane, so that'll be a little bit better. As far as mid lane is concerned, 8-1, 9-1 now on the Bristleback versus 5-1 of the Brood. Don't know if many of those were spiders, but nonetheless, mid one's going to have a fine time in this lane, it feels like.
Yeah, it's pretty hard to save all your spiders. They're not worth that much anymore. It's like 9 each, but you still don't want to just be feeding them away for free, and Ramsey is currently losing quite a few of them.
Not to mention a fair bit of life, but with the stick, he shouldn't ever really go down unless there's some heavy misplays or a rotation in this one, I would imagine.
Yeah, he's just so fast. Like, he would just have to get way too greedy, or if he tries to man up on the bristle and that count starts going, but you're already committed, one of those situations would be how he goes.
Solo running into a lot of these heroes. They're going to throw out the magic missile, but a good Ava toss, and then the rather just toss of the tree, and they're going to back out.
So just some trading back and forth. Good thing there wasn't a Bloodseeker in this game, because give me some seriously low HP heroes throughout this laning stage. Bottom lane's been pretty quiet, very reserved play here so far. Fada just kind of tanking some damage, but now at level 2.5, so once he gets 3, he'll be feeling very safe. 2 points into the old Dragon Blood. And Yapsor is just getting levels. He's got about the same amount of experience as his DK, and if you can get some free levels on Earth Spirit like this, even though you're not getting kills, at least nothing bad's happening to your core. Like, they just chuck an arrow like that, and Fada even body blocks it. Stops from hitting the neutral.
No one, though, up in the top lane, finds himself Puppy, and that is going to be first blood, although if no one goes down here, it's definitely not worth it. It doesn't look like they want to go for the dive. Stick charges would have kept him alive.
Oh, again down bottom, they're going to go for another arrow.
It's a good bit of damage, but this is a tanky DK, and the stun, it connects onto 2 of them now. Just going to get the walk away. Fata still living.
Yeah, not a whole lot they can do here. And
Oh.
yeah, sorry. Good play.
I mean, there's a lot of fun little things that you can do this matchup, right? Like pump fake the torrent, those types of things. But he didn't bite.
No, and despite all this spam, they don't have the stick yet. Yaps are probably going to pick it up now, although he definitely wants his boots first, so won't be able to quite get it. At least then you know when the spam is real from the torrent.
Yeah. Well, and Ramsey's now just going to cut the creep wave back behind the tower. Realizes it's dangerous dealing with the bristleback, although mid one is going to head back here and just going to keep the pressure on.
Brood issues, though. Well, what's he going to do? Does he want to farm spiders, or does he want to farm the wave? Because I can tell you which one's worth more.
That's true.
It's the wave. He's kind of trying to like play both, where he's getting the experience from the tower and trying to harass the broodmother, but this is what's so frustrating about this hero. It's like no matter what you do, she will just dodge you completely.
God, and up top, it's just been a bloodbath back and forth. I mean, not a whole lot of kills, but they're punching each other a whole heck of a lot. And still not a great chance for a kill as of yet. About 5 minutes in, though, we're getting close towards those first rounds of runes. No one. They could go for a toss back here, as they already have been able to find it one round of it, and, well, just a runaway.
Yeah, pretty hard to secure any sort of a kill right now. And the 5-minute bounty runes can be very important up here with that bottle on ace. So we're going to be looking for them to try and make a play there. They're actually glyphing the wave because it's just delaying it further, right? Where it's like diving back behind the tower. It's pushing them back from the bounty runes. I'd love to see solo contest. I think, he's going to come up for this.
Yeah. Quick movement forward. Obviously, with 2 points of Nightmare, he can secure this one, although Weaver going for the Sakuchi already. And meanwhile, going with the Magic Missile, possibly. It's a lot of minus armor on these heroes, but they're still going to be able to get it. Just the strength of those nukes. They force them back. Man,
that was so well played. I don't know if that was just for this lane. That's what it looked like. But if you're glyphing like that, to force them back so they can't get the rune for the bottle, that just hurt Ace so much. Think about the investment he has, and this item is just worthless for him right now.
Yeah, that's terrible. I mean, and again, it's just the type of thing where it's really high-level play coming in from Virtus.pro. They know what it is that you're trying to get out of this dual lane. It's not happening. Mid lane again, mid one. He's been able to force Ramses away, and he's right now farming up the jungle. As the arrow goes out, going to miss. No chance for a catch, but
still just the one kill. This is definitely the quietest game we have cast so far, and
yeah,
not what I was expecting from Virtus.pro and Team Secret.
Don't worry, it's all going to pop off here in a second, I'm sure. And actually, Solo's going to rotate mid. I don't know what the goal is there.
There's just some experience here. There's a full catapult.
Okay.
Just hang out. Make sure mid one can't just freely push the tower. Sweet, sweet catapult experience. And rune's going to end up being bottom, and will be found here by Roger.
Yeah. Ramses again going to cut this wave. Level 6 for him. Has the Soul Ring and Bassi. Yeah, there's a lot of these spiders.
He's just feeding them into the tower. He's like, free gold. Thank you.
And he's happy as a clam. He's just going to dodge away that courier. But mid one, he's just such a fast hero. I would love to see eventually the Earth Spirit rotate, because I think DK can survive at least fairly well in this lane if the lane's pushed under the tower. But
I think the problem is, what would YapzOr do? Like, I don't think they have enough control to get a kill. It's going to be one single stun.
Top lane, they find themselves Puppy yet again. No one able to pick up that kill. And even though there are bugs, there's damage from Sakuchi, it's hard to make something happen here against these heroes, although well, Ace is going to try. He will have another Sakuchi in a second, but Brain Sap just heals him back up.
Yeah, Solo just putting in so much work right now. Very efficient hero, the Bane, the Brain Saps. Can trade, and suddenly you have all this HP back. They're losing HP.
That's what you'll have to see. So CS so far, you can see it's kind of into the favor, I would say, of Virtus.pro a little bit more, just because the CS from the Bristleback isn't necessarily what it seems. He is still top net worth by about 200, but I'd say that both teams fairly okay with where they're at.
Yeah, the Bristle's definitely benefiting from the spiders. Ended up putting him a little bit ahead, but that's a big deal. And again, up top, Ace getting a little bit low, but now he can play aggressive.
Yeah, going in for this one. Sakuchi, all of this minus armor. This is why this lane is so tough, but with the Brain Sap, he overextends.
He holds that for so long every time. And cooldown only 12 seconds right now.
Ooh, that's a nice little chunk of change for mid one. Unfortunately, it's only three gold every single time he kills one of those spiders. That one hurts.
Oh, he gets back to tower time, though, so
okay,
all worth it in the end. Question is, what is mid one going to be able to do in this one? He's building up straight for the Vanguard first. Kind of a classic versus any sort of a brood lineup. It's also fine versus just like the tiny two, so a little bit handy. Looks like he's not even sure if he's going to commit for it, honestly. Feels like a great Radiance game if you could get it, but most games are a great Radiance game if you can get it.
That's fair.
Smoked up Roger. He'll now be scattered out by this ward. But not really a whole lot for Puppy to go on here, and Roger's just going to leave, in fact.
Instead, it's going to be mid one sort of pressuring this tower. Roger does have 2 points in the Torrent, 2 points in X, so you know if they wanted to make something happen, they find a stun that the leap away. This is the first Dragon Knight ulti, though, and Fata's going to try and get some pressure on, but Ramses is rotated down, and now they don't have a creep wave that after this first one dies. Meanwhile, top lane, they find a kill on a Weaver. Put an Observer to work right now as there's action happening all over the map.
It's Broodmother. This is why they can first phase it. Like, well, what can you pick that stops this, you know? It's just he's not playing near any of your heroes. They just have support showing up to the wave, catching it. Bristleback can't just like solo push this tower unless he fully commits into the Vanguard, and then he can try and tank it up like infinitely. But then he's running into other risks because of the initiation range of something like this Kunkka. Very frustrating to deal with.
And Ramses, meanwhile, doesn't even necessarily have to take that tower because he's farming up the whole rest of the map, the jungle, and waves.
Yeah, YapzOr's coming over now, but he's still just level 4. He really needs that tome if he plans on making any sort of plays.
One just slowly lumbering along, trying to chase the Broodmother. And it is happening. Sort of harrying him around the map. But this is kind of just going to be the Ramses show for a little while. Does what he wants, eventually pushes a tower when there's rotations elsewhere. As we get close to this 10-minute mark, it looks like we might have a battle for the runes around bottom as they jump forward immediate to the stun silence. They find themselves a good bit of damage there as Pasha going to leap away, get himself the bounty rune, roll forward a little bit off the mark, and it looks like Pasha should be able to escape.
Yeah, Ace is able to get bottled up this time too, so much better for him. But bottom lane, mid one, a little bit deep here. They're making the rotations.
They've got the Fiend Script. I already caught him. With no one coming in as well, they got the Avatar's more than enough damage. Take him down, and with the catapult, they can maybe do something else. As bottom lane, they find themselves another stun. The silence, no leaping away this time, although Breathe Fire, it is up. They got him.
Just enough to secure it, but there is going to be an X. Solo, he's got level 3 in that Brain Sap.
God, so much pure damage. And of course, with the high armor, it's really hard to take down this hero, but with a Nightmare and a walk forward, they might be able to do it. Trading over the Nightmare. Fata trying to run. He does not have enough mana to TP. He does have a Soul Ring back up, but it's going to be a kill. They just dropped out an Observer Ward. The least vision in the world, but it's where they needed it, and they kill him.
All right. Slightly excessive. Top lane swap for Puppey. Trying to survive here. Oh, raindrops. Keeping him up. Now can he find the sneaky TP? Oh, the next level play. There it is. Just don't move.
That was so close. And while this is happening, mid one's trying to get some pressure on the tower, but it started to ramp up a little bit, and it feels like VP are rolling 3K in the lead as far as net worth goes.
I keep bringing the spiders on the dire side. It's like Ramses comes back over like, oh yeah, right. This is, played so far deep on Radiant now, and okay, nice initiation. Actually catches the roll despite the speed of the spider.
He wants to reapply Magnetize. He gets it now, and it's onto all the spiders as well. The damage, he gets another round of it. That should be enough to take down Ramses. Puppey also in the area. They get the kill.
He went with the greedy ult play there, but there were no Ancients, or at least not enough to sustain him.
And now the boat. It is going to be a kill onto YapzOr, so a little bit of return volley of action for Virtus.pro, but losing the spider hurts. Mid lane, they don't have a boat this time. It's going to be hard to kill, yeah, and they're just doing this to secure a rune for no one.
Who also has a Blink Dagger now, too. So he can definitely blow up this Weaver. Ace under 800 HP at the moment. Has not purchased a whole lot of stats. He got 3 strength from that ring.
And look at how much the win probability shifts also, up to 70% after that kill on the Broodmother. So apparently Plus is feeling pretty confident. Another Fiend Script used mid, though, and the swap to try and keep him alive. He's still gripped, but from a little bit further away, and that is going to secure the Bristleback's retreat. It should at least, although they are bringing in another, the arrow. Not quite going to connect onto the Bristleback. They get the toss back, though, able to find him. Mid one not tanky enough for every single hero on VP.
Yeah, Ramses actually still has the defusal up, too. They wanted to dive a little bit further, but they don't spot the right target. But, I mean, that's not even their full arsenal. Like, there's no boat being used there. So, very scary stuff that they can blow up that Bristleback so easily, even after the Vanguard. Now he needs to go into the Hood, too. And this time we will. So, we talked about the Weaver not getting Hood the other day when we were watching our Weaver games. So, see how much survivability this helps Ace. And you pointed out during the draft just this idea of the Lincoln Sphere having quite a few targets to pop it. So, not a very guaranteed way to safety for him.
Yeah. And they are going to be moving in here towards the spider. It's a wraparound from Solo. They actually managed to stun Tiny off on the side with the boulder kick through, so he can't get there in time. But now the Avatar shows up. He finds himself. YapzOr is almost dead, but the secondary stun, he is still going to fall. They managed to get a kill onto Solo. Just supports dying so far while the battle is going to continue. They take down Puppey. Ace showing up. don't know if he's going to be able to make anything else happen here, though.
Did you see Solo? Did you see what he did in that fight? Did you see him nightmare him and dodge that bench stun? This guy, he's ridiculous. I don't know how he does it. He's the best Bane player that's ever lived. For the team, you know, he goes down, helping him out. Very good swing for them still. Helping that Mirana, too. Make sure Pasha can try and catch up and become relevant in this one, as he looks to be building in towards Maelstrom.
That's what you want to see.
So hasted up Tiny here. Yeah, let's go. Oh, this Weaver, dude. No one, does he have the cooldowns? This Weaver shows up. He is so dead.
Yeah, I think he has an inkling that something is going on.
This ward, it might come
Oh
in
god,
again.
no one! He's coming for him, Ava! It's not quite there. Oh jeez. Hide, Ace.
Use the ward!
No, he's on the ward! He walked back into it! Oh, Ace has found the X torn. Oh, they missed the combo a little bit off the mark.
They missed a whole lot of stuff right there. Even the dust didn't hit.
Alright, that is the most value ward that's ever been placed in the woods, but it doesn't pay off that time.
Goodness gracious. I don't know what happened. That went from the best to the worst very quickly. And they're going to end up losing the mid tower too, as they start pushing the bottom for an exchange, but not a very good trade there for old Virtus.pro.
Yeah. Now, another round of bounty runes secured. Pasha able to get both of those ones up there. So VP, all around the map, they're getting that gold.
Yeah, that's a lot of red there on the bounty feed. Very good stuff.
Jeez.
And they will now secure that tower after the sustained push down bottom. No one building in towards the Shadow Blade, as one would expect. The eventual Silver Red's just so much value this game versus DK and the Bristleback.
So, you know, a lot of times when you see this kill score, 4-10, a 4,000 net worth lead, it feels like it's like an insurmountable lead in this patch. But in this game, I do feel like Secret have a lot of the tools that they would need to take the fights, and it's not just like a foregone conclusion that if VP get to the late game, they're going to win.
Yeah, it's a bit of a, it's like an out game sort of, where it's like, yeah, there's a net worth lead, but it's a brood. So it's like, there should be kind of this net worth lead thing going on. But in order for Secret to keep themselves in it, they just need to start using the power of this Dragonite, which you can see they're doing now. They're going to push down this tower, and then I want to see them use all this minus armor they have to also secure Roche for themselves. But it won't be a very easy Roche fight, right? You're fighting up against Moonlight Shadows, you got to make sure you have your detection. Oh, yeah.
They use the grip, they use the boat, they use everything on mid one, but the stun comes in. All the spiders are showing up now as well. Mid one's so low and is going to die.
It's one of those cases where if you have just like one defensive hero, I mean the swap of course would have saved it, but like just those little heals, they always feel so strong when you have someone like Bristleback. Like you want them chasing where it's just like, oh, we almost got the kill. Oh, we almost got the kill, and like you keep going deeper and deeper, but right there, like once they start the initiation on them, what slows them down?
Nothing.
It feels like nothing, right? Like one kick flies through from Yapsor.
Bottom lane, they find Puppey again. Miss on the Avalanche, which does mean that Puppey will escape for the moment, and with the rest of the heroes from VP showing up, Roger isn't even bothering to go after him, apparently. Puppey pops the shrine, but stuns the wrong Tiny, and, well, he was always going to die.
Yep. Not a lot of options there. They will deny mid. The spiders all there. So very well timed.
Yeah.
And a smoke now from Puppey being purchased, so I think they're likely going to try and make a play around that Roche pit. But again, problems for it. They have the AoE from the Tiny. You have the Moonlight Shadow. You're going to have a Kunkka. And then on top of that, there's just this Broodmother who, if they, like, let's say Secret try and go for this Roche play and it's spotted by Virtus.pro, Ramses is just going to play that entire box at the bottom of the map and just secure all of that while they're trying to, like, posture around Roche, you know? And start forcing down into tier 2s, even a little bit of damage on the tier 3s. And those are the kind of things you'd have to worry about.
Yeah, it's not often thought of. Like, people tend to talk about the top side of the map because that's where Roche is, but because Roche is up there, it also just opens up this entire other side of the map. That's what we saw Fnatic do a lot leading up to this when they were trying to get back into the game. I guess it sort of works the same way even if you're in the lead, where you can apply that pressure there and then sort of pull the enemies to that side of the map. So, 18 minutes in, 5-12, and we'll see indeed where VP want to go. And it's just continuing to be Ace sort of farming in these somewhat dangerous areas away from the rest of his team while the rest of Secret make a move.
They've smoked up here. Fada has that Blink Dagger, but they don't have the most burst damage between these three heroes. Someone like a Kunkka, this is a pretty nice dagger for them, but I wager he's going to be out of here in time.
Oh, yeah. He is just gone. Not often that you see the, I guess that you always see it pretty much on support Kunkka now, but the 6 armor talent, really good at level 10.
Yep, very handy, especially in a game like this.
Oh.
I don't think his right clicks are going to matter too much as support Kunkka, so.
No.
Ace has finally made his decision on what he wants to go for. He's eyeing up that Diffusal Blade.
They do pop the Moonlight Shadow now. No one spotted Ace and knows he's going to be going over to the second camp here as well. And, well, Ace playing it safe for the moment. He walks through, but they're there immediately. Ava, toss, gets the kill, even as the Sakuchi came out and farms his camp for good measure.
Thought he might be able to get off the time lapse there. It's a little bit close, but guess not quite there. So they actually hit the arrow right away, but they don't have enough follow-up here, even with the Fiend's Grip, especially with all the support coming in. I'm sure Mid One's kind of hoping they would lead up onto him there, and Pasha will just be driven back here. Mid One, maybe he can force a fight. Yapsor has a lot of range.
I mean, he's just going to TP away, so a little late to the party. Yapsor can't get there in time.
Yeah, not quite the communication there. So, meanwhile, Ramses has picked up a BKB. He's shoving in that mid lane, and he's going to force them back to this tower.
Yeah, this is really bad. I mean, they keep on having to rotate so many heroes when they go together, and as you said, it just frees up this bottom half of the map, this box for Ramses to farm away. Such a tough thing for them to do, and then in the meantime, the rest of the heroes are farming as well.
They have vision on Fada up top here. They watch him walk right in that camp, but the Hellbear tanks the arrow.
Oh, and they find the stun on it too, also able to get the Magnetize onto no one, chasing down the Mirana, but the Torrent is going to save their life. The boat connects too. Are they going to get anybody?
They got the Hellbear.
They got him all right.
I mean, so VP come out on top on that one. That's a net worth gain for Virtus.pro.
And in the meantime, again, Ramses pushing for the Tier 3 tower, dealing a good bit of damage here. And Secret just can't really get back and defend quickly enough before the tower's already taken a ton of damage.
And they can see that there was no one there. So Roger went and he put the Torrent in the Roche pit. And that secured the fact that they knew that they didn't just instantly go to Roche. And that's why Ramses starts backing away just as the reinforcements were coming.
Although they do turn this back around, trying to take down Puppey. Going to throw one of the webs, which gives the extra movement speed. Solo also under a little bit of fire. They find the Torrent now onto Fada as Solo is going to die. So they are simultaneously able to secure these little kills while making sure the Brood gets away.
Yep, Solo just kind of feeding the body once again. And you now have Ramses up to 2k gold with a 10-second BKB. And Pasha eyeing one up for himself there, you can see.
Yeah, they're really having a great time now. You take a look at sort of the way the net worth is looking. 8,000 gold lead for Virtus.pro, and that line is all going downhill at this point for Team Secret. And, you know, this is sort of what is so strong about VP. This is a second-pick Broodmother, and they're still making it work like this.
Yeah, it feels like Secret just can't get any plays really with his Dragonite. Like, they picked lanes that didn't necessarily lose super hard, but I don't know how they try and get around this map to make something happen.
Thinking about mid one, mid lane. And Roger here with the boat, with the Torrent, with the X. All laid down onto the head of this Bristleback as no one shows up as well. People trying to TP over and make something happen, but, well, Puppey actually able to get the swap. They need to break this Fiend's Grip. He's still living through it for a good bit of time, but eventually it will be found, will be killed, late to the party, and no way to save mid one.
Jeez, that arrow.
That was really close.
Yeah, supports came in very late there. So I think they either thought that he was 100% dead or he was going to get away, and then you start TPing in like 2 seconds late. Doesn't usually end up too well. So that allowed them to just back right up into the Roche pit. No chance they can contest. They could attempt to play maybe from Yapsor, but at this point you're just throwing away some more gold. Very unlikely you're going to snag this Aegis. And frankly, I don't think they even need the Aegis to go high ground. I think it was much more about Secret needing this Aegis to try and get back into this one.
Yeah.
Radiant's bottom tower has been denied.
So 22 minutes in and a 9,000 gold lead. Virtus.pro exactly where they want to be. The question is, I mean, there is still a Tier 1 tower and Tier 2 top lane. Is it worth investing in taking those out, or do you think you just try and go for, like, dominating the map and maybe high ground if you find some pickoffs?
I think that with the assassination potential they have between a Kunkka and the Tiny, that I would take care of those towers and just control the rest of the map. But Kunkka will get picked off here, wandering out on his own under some vision from the Radiant. They instantly smoke. It looks like he saw the smoke, actually. Yeah. Because he just pinged it, so he still had like some lingering vision going on there.
It sort of forces VP back at the very least, and, well, it looks like Ramses is still comfortable farming up the jungle here.
I almost found him. Very close.
God, it's just so hard to deal with this Broodmother. Like, the free movement, the fact that it's not invisible, you can still hide in the trees.
They're trying to start a full 5v5. Well, I guess it'd be 5v4, but just a fight where all of Secret are actually there, because they haven't really had that yet. So they've got Mid1 in the front, posturing like a bristleback should. He has this Crimson Guard. He has his hood. He's looking towards that Radiance for the eventual victory here. And they're going to go on a solo.
Roll in. They smoked under vision, but they're still willing to take that fight. Just
Good.
feeling confident about how they're playing.
This is what they need, like little skirmishes, right? They never want to fight on an even playing ground because they're 9k behind. So anytime that they can fight with a numbers advantage, they need to take it.
Yeah, I mean, this is, you know, VP with the Aegis, and
Yep.
they're not really caring at all. Secret is still just running at them and say, deal with this push, the 5-man pressure
And-
that's coming from us.
Oh, look, they're trying to kind of lure Pasha here by keeping this wave alive, too. But he is double leap into TP. But they have an Earth Spirit. I don't think he can get out of here now.
Silence. He's caught. He's stunned. Pasha, what you doing,
That
buddy?
was so greedy. My God.
All right, Secret have turned it up the last couple of minutes. Like, mid-1, he has a Crimson
I
Guard.
think
Now he's
Virtus.pro
ready to
have
go.
turned it down. I don't know how much you can credit a Secret on this.
I mean, at least they're running at him. Another smoke used as they're going to TP. They're anticipating somebody up in the top side. And actually, immediate TP over from Solo. So they will run into the Bane.
I just wanted a bounty rune. Run!
Oh.
I really like how they're just playing this like complete group up Dota. Smoked up Yapsor down bottom. Wants his bounty and he's going to get out. Oh, but Tiny's on the chase.
He does have another kick. He throws it back, gets the spiders. Ava, toss, connects there. And, well, Yapsor, with 6 seconds left on the roll away, is not going to be able to escape.
Back
It's mid
mid,
lane.
though.
They found him. A nice catch there as, well, Solo pays for that bounty rune he got earlier.
Suddenly, it's only 16 to 10. Kills starting to even up a bit here. Only a 5k lead. Dropping like flies inside Virtus.pro. And now they're the ones who are pressing forward into a 4v4 scenario. But buyback is available for the Earth Spirit, and he will certainly use it if the fight comes anywhere near a spot he can TP to. Not an expensive thing to spend.
I mean, how many teams are going to make that call, though, that like, all right, VP, they just got the Aegis, let's run at them. You know, I guess that it's sort of like the meta game that is evolving before, where teams would say, okay, we don't want to go in 5-man right away as soon as we get the Aegis because teams aren't going to want to fight us, so we're going to spread out and farm. And when that happens, now it's sort of the second answer in the game theory that is Aegis, where, all right, let's just run at them because they're all going to be spread out and farming.
Sure, but I'm not giving that to the Pasha death.
Okay, fair enough.
I had less problems with the first two.
Yeah.
Well, Secret able to leave their base, still holding on to the tier 2. They did lose that tier 1 in the top lane, so starting to lose some of their territory that does remain, but for now they can still control up the Ancients.
Oh, Ramsey's getting towards a butterfly after the BKB Diffusal Blade. Could be quite difficult to deal with. Nice bit of armor and damage, and of course that evasion.
Oh, okay, here we go. So they have the Silver Edge ready, but they also have a sentry down, looking for that stop onto the No One Tiny.
Oh, this is so good. If they can sort this out and bait out a movement, but no one realizes it
Yeah,
now.
the creeps.
Although they are still looking for it. The jump forward onto the other side. Ace, they get a nice stun through onto 2, but the boat is coming through afterwards. The damage mitigation as well as the stun. It's onto both of them. Puppy's starting to fall. They've already lost Ace and Fata. VP put the kibosh on the problems that they were running into before. This Magnetize is doing a good bit of damage. And mid-1 is still alive. It might be a bit scary fighting into all of this. And with the buyback on Dragon Knight, I think VP needs to get out of here. Although they saved the Fiend's Grip. They're able to stun one and Fiend's Grip the other. These heroes are tanky, but there's only so much that you can tank through. Mid-1 still trying to dive into it. He might kill off no one here, but it's just the Aegis.
Yeah, it looks like they'll keep going here with the X. Do they want to try and finish it?
He misses on the Torrent again. And
All right, downtown arrow, Pasha. Give
oh,
it to
there's
him.
the break. They got the kill. That's enough. And VP, they only lose the Aegis and Secret lose 5.
That was Solo cracking the whip, I think, on that last couple. All right, guys. You know how you start losing this game where you're like way up and like, oh, guys, we just need a 5-man. Let's end this game. I'm not throwing this away. That's what that moment was.
Yeah. And the other nice part about having this Kunkka here is that you can just go for the XTP back home and you're suddenly back up to full HP, so they don't need to leave. They're fine. The only thing that's going to stop them is that tier 2 tower in the top lane.
Well, I think they'll be more than happy with a double set of melee racks here.
Now, Broodmother just now getting into that level 20 attack speed talent also, and Ramses has the butterfly ready for him if they so desire. And meanwhile, they break, they punch,
Ace
they
again.
kill. Ace dead again. And now Fata also getting run at. This game feels like it's getting out of hand as Secret are losing member after member of their team.
Yeah. I think Ace might have thought the time lapse was a passive or something. I don't know if he was playing it bad earlier, but he has not been having a very easy time with that. He gets they have a ton of burst. There's no question. So they've skilled very well. You know, picked the right heroes here for the side of Virtus.pro, but Ace is just getting caught over and over again.
And now, what was just a couple of minutes ago a 5,000 gold lead is ballooned up to 16,000. You're also getting close to some of those bigger talents on a couple of these heroes. Very, very bleak outlook for Team Secret at this point in the game.
Yeah, they did a great job in those movements across map for sure. Like, they spotted their moment. They knew that they had to play very aggressive to try and get back in this game, and they found it. And then the problem is those were risky plays that panned out for them, and then this play in the mid lane was also a little bit risky, right? This whole idea of like putting down the sentry and creating this bait, and Virtus.pro just had the great idea of just jumping off to the side because they had that vision down there. They saw the Dragonite, they initiate on him first, and even though because he went for the blink from no one, he wasn't able to actually use the Silver Edge debuff on the DK, it didn't matter because they were able to just like focus all their attention, and the rest of Secret was split up too much to actually have a good team fight. And then that suddenly your game's just over.
Yeah, this is such a hard position to be in. But VP on the other side, you know, it starts to beg the question, not necessarily that this game is over, but they're in a position where they could probably win. Do you need to think about banning out that Broodmother first phase? I mean,
yes, definitely. This is what
terrifying.
they're proving. They're saying if you're not going to ban it, we're going to pick it every game until we lose. And this, I don't think this is going to be one of those losses.
30 minutes in now. And Bristleback does have a Radiance. He's been able to farm up to that, as well as the Crimson Guard and the Hooded Defiance. So some signs of life, at least in a small way, for Team Secret. Also picking up the Spirit Vessel for Earth Spirit. It does feel like they have some avenues to sort of fight, but being down 2 racks is just so difficult to deal with, particularly against a Broodmother.
Yeah, it's just if you leave the base, the pressure's always there. Can never feel secure about it. Mid one, if only they had just won, even if they didn't win one fight, if they had just like kind of stayed on the even footing by the time he got the Radiance, because you think of how they were fighting, and this was a hero that was sitting on 4k gold completely unspent, right?
Yeah.
He had not changed his actual itemization in that entire window while trying to build up this Radiance, and they lose the fight where they're 400 or so gold away from it.
It's crazy. Like, that makes such a difference in these engagements, because how many times did we see him just barely about to live, just barely able to walk away, or not walk away in that case, and then because of that, it ends up falling apart as 4 heroes running down the top lane. And Broodmother, again, like, how many heroes can you do this with, where you just sort of sit away from the rest of your team, and it's perfectly fine, because you got spiders for vision, and you're also just incredibly hard to kill in the first place.
Yeah, I like what they did with their support too, and the Avenge and the Earth Spirit, because they both have ways to kind of like scout out and catch that Brood, but the supporting cores can't really kill.
There's the Silver Edge. Good swap away, but the X! They pull him back in after the swap. Oh, it hurts so bad, and Team Secret lose 2. They buy back on the Bristle. Fod is already dead, though. And VP showing no mercy in this game number 1.
A bit of a twofer there. It's just going to be 1, and then the swap, it's like, oh no. Very nice choice there in the Kunkka for Roger. A classic for him. Very good on the hero. And showing off in this one this season. He's actually had one of the better performances on the Virtus.pro side. He's 2-1-16.
That's a crazy one.
Of course, no one still remains as the only one on the side of Virtus.pro who has not died.
And now he has that tree grab talent, too. He's just going to be pounding away at this tower. It's so hard to deal with. Yeah, no one's had a spectacular game. AC already done. Silver Edge. Perfect itemization. They do roll in on him now.
Nice kick.
Well, they managed to find several with the silence also, but Roger hanging on and going to throw out that boat. Eventually, damage mitigation is going to be there. They take down the Bristleback, which doesn't mean Radiance is going to be thrown around. They reapply the Magnetize. No one just going to TP back home. And still, looks like Virtus.pro are going to pull back in the Tiny after the fact. Actually, Broodmother ends up going down. They're able to kill her
no
off.
one doesn't really want to be here.
Yeah, this is maybe a little bit too far. Did VP overextend themselves? All right, no one's going back in. This is going to be a big combo. He hits onto one, breaks the DK, kills them both with the tree. Oh, no one.
Time lapse ever. He can't. He just gets bursted from like 80% to 0.
And no one finishes with the triple kill in emphatic fashion. VP take it. First game over Secret.
Brood Mama.
Yeah.
You counterpick it? She just ignores you. She just runs away. She farms down at your tier 2s, in between your tier 2 and your tier 3, and what are you going to do? You can't just ignore the wave coming through. Can't just chase her around in circles. She'll just run over a cliff.
and then go farm the jungle. And it did feel like, mid one was trying to chase her around the map a little bit and get into a bit of a position where, at the very least, he could take away some of those spiders. He had the highest CS for longest time in the world and was seen top of the net worth, but it just didn't end up mattering.
Yeah, it's so much map presence from this Broodmother. But there's kind of this reason why teams just can't all pick it, right? Like, it's not the easiest hero to play around, and you need very specific other heroes on your other lanes, and you need 4 heroes that can kind of like play on their own at certain points in the game. And we had that, and Virtus.pro did an excellent job of that. So much vision being dropped down too, not just from the spiders, but from like Solo running around and slapping down some wards. They're able to know exactly where Ramsey should be, where they should be. They're watching these movements from Team Secret, and although they had some great kind of like guerrilla warfare almost from Team Secret, they weren't quite able to battle themselves out of game number 1. But it is just that. It's only game number 1.
That's right. And we're going to be hopping into game number 2 right after this, everybody. Day 2 of the International 8 group stages. Stick around because we'll be right back with more from Virtus.pro and Team Secret. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the International 8. We're taking a look at the second game of our first series. Cut out there for a second. Of
Perfect.
Virtus.pro versus Team Secret. How you doing, my man? You excited?
Yes, excellent game number 1. Very crisp performance from Virtus.pro. Secret managed to find a couple holes in the armor there, and they tried to punch on through and thought maybe they could mount a comeback, but the bristleback back wasn't enough. Even with that ratings finally coming up. But as you can probably hear, we are starting to get into the draft.
Let's do
You
it.
can start seeing some of these picks. They're beginning to come out here. But what are we expecting to see changed? The hero was the Broodmother. The 6th ban is here. Is it going to happen? That is the question, and it looks like Secret aren't quite sure yet either.
They're pontificating. They're thinking about it. They're going deep into their soul and say, do we want to see this little spider lady again? And no. The answer is no. Let's get it gone.
And that looks like we're on the same side, right? We got ourselves first pick Virtus.pro once more on Dire side. Okay, interesting. Looks like Solo wanted first pick again. Or, sorry, in the first game they wanted... Oh, they just get choice. Okay, so they chose first pick and Secret chose Radiant. Okay, that makes sense.
Okay. Spectre first pick. All right, what is happening? What is going on here? Is this really what they're just going to do this entire tournament and say, all right, every single hero that you think, you can't first pick that one, we're just going to take it?
I mean, I know that they took in the first phase in their very first game versus Optic, which was a little bit wild, but that very first pick overall, I'm impressed. Very strong hero. I mean, you guys have been watching this hero for a couple months now. It always feels like you have a very good chance at bringing yourselves back into the game as long as you can get a little bit. But this is the hero that has also been very iconic in that time because all we picture is pressure on the lane, the Pugnas, the Undying. You just want to run at this Spectre and make sure she can't get to that ratings because once she gets there, it feels like she can do anything.
No, totally. And it sort of like always puts the enemy team on a back foot the entire game. Now, I will say this, and again, when you're talking about group stages, it doesn't necessarily have a whole lot to do with like this individual game that we're looking at now. But going forward, VP have sometimes been fairly predictable, and they've been saying, all right, we're going to win with this, come and stop us. If they keep going into this tournament and they remain like with this series of picks, I might start to get a little bit worried about them going forward. But at least this game, it looks okay.
The last time people called Virtus.pro predictable, they just picked every single hero throughout the summit, never going twice, played elimination mode until the very last game. So
yeah, how'd they do with that, TI?
Hey, whoa. Hey, whoa. So don't do a guy like that. Come on now.
That's fair. I see what you mean. I completely agree that it is the type of thing where as soon as you think you understand them, then it's not going to go that way. But the first pick Spectre's a little bit out there, and I think Undying is a great answer.
I mean, they've only dropped one game. I think if you're picking these kind of like game-defining heroes so early on in your draft and winning with them, that's a huge problem. Because it's all about this respect. And these heroes, like, they're not really tier 1 in a sense. Like, Spectre is very good, but she's not like... first phase ban material. That's supposed to be your Ench. She's that iconic one that you think of at the moment. But 2 green menaces there in the Undying and the Wraith King. Quite a bit of pressure. Possibly even a dual lane being played together, I would imagine. And then we get a Chen for Virtus.pro.
Kind of I guess to make up for the fact that I guess Spectre isn't necessarily a weak laner anymore. You always think of her as that way, but she's become stronger in the past. And maybe needing to shore up against the pressure you know is going to come from the Undying.
Yeah, she's still relatively weak compared to a lot of these other heroes. Like right now, we're picking basically like lane dominators. Our current laners are things like the Ursa. We have the Monkey King, and that's pretty much those kinds. Ursa, Monkey King, Pugna, Necrophos, those kind of heroes.
Okay, fair enough. And speaking of the Pugna, he's going to get gone now. We also have the Mirana taken out and the Weaver. Yeah, I kind of am curious to see if this Wraith King is going to end up going into lane with the Undying. Obviously, like 2 melee never necessarily feels great, but it does feel like with these 2, you can apply so much pressure that it might be worth it.
Yeah, I think that's likely the case. The only reason it wouldn't happen, honestly, is if Puppey ends up playing Wraith King, just because it's kind of like a bit of a classic there. But I think it's more likely that you're going to get some Puppey Undying and then some Yapsor hero that looks good in the match. But for now, these strong laners, the Weaver, the Pugna, they're going to be banned out here from Virtus.pro, as you would expect. Other cores, if it's not the Wraith King punishing into the Spectre, it's not a whole lot. I guess no, Tiny is banned out too. So
Storm Spirit can sometimes be okay because you can like come online pretty quickly.
I mean, I'm just thinking like straight up in the first 5 minutes. I'm thinking like
Oh,
Ursa.
gotcha,
You know what I
gotcha,
mean?
gotcha.
Like, what if they just went Ursa Undying, that kind of stuff. But Undying not having a good control element means it probably won't happen.
Yeah.
So, in terms of the rest of Virtus.pro's draft, because we talked a lot about what they're going to do versus the Spectre for a Team Spirit or for a Team Secret, but in terms of these allies for Virtus.pro, their last Spectre draft, they just kind of went for that Storm Spirit, as you said, and they kind of worked in combination where it's like a little bit of a global presence with the Spectre and the Storm just zipping and haunting. But the IO being left in, now this is nice. I thought it was something they might go for the first phase because it's like left in, and it's like, oh, this is a nice big hero, and Secret, of course, can play it, but it's been a while. So that's likely going to be for YapzOr here.
Okay. Yeah, kind of nifty. And it does sort of
10
signal that
seconds
it's
remaining.
likely to be. I would imagine that this is going to go in the bottom lane
Five
with whoever the
seconds
safe lane
remaining.
carry ends up being, and then you run Undying +1 against the Spectre. But with so much lane swappage that you might end up seeing, it could also change that around too. Um, Obviously, IO Gyrocopter has been a go-to. How do you feel about that matchup against the Spectre?
Ooh, IO Gyro. Okay, I mean, it is definitely strong heading to later parts of the game. Gyrocopter has been a pretty standard counter versus the Chen. It's almost worth picking here for Virtus.pro. With how well no one plays the hero out of the mid lane,
Yeah.
I actually would not mind them taking that whatsoever, because then what are they going to do with the IO? They probably actually have to fall back for the IO Ursa,
Mm.
I think, if you were Team Secret.
You could potentially take the Morphling at that point too, but that might be. It's still really good against the Spectre, actually. Also, I think either IO Gyro or IO Morphling would be okay.
Yeah. Or Virtus.pro perhaps just already had something else in mind and might be more comfortable just ignoring the game plan of Team Secret and taking something that's more comfortable for them.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. It doesn't feel like VP are that worried about Team Secret at this point. First picking the Spectre and second pick of the Broodmother.
Yeah, we already talked earlier about how Team Secret were in a rough spot with the 1 and 3. Now they're 1 and 4.
Ugh.
And being versus Virtus.pro, just a very difficult day for them. That is for sure. And they'll take the Disruptor. So the iconic position 5 versus the IO +1, and one of the best heroes Solo has ever played. So he's having a great series so far. I got to play as Bane, now I get to play as Disruptor. These are the benefits of being captain, guys. Like, you just get to choose. You say, no, guys, trust me. Disruptor's so good, even when it's not perfect. But this game, it looks pretty damn good.
All
Like,
of these heroes feel like very comfort picks. Like it feels as if the bands that are coming out right now are at the meta heroes, but those aren't necessarily like the iconic ones I think of when I think of Virtus.pro. Roger Chen, like that goes back a ways, and it is going to be the Gyrocopter for Team Secret. Of course, Ramsey's very comfortable on the Spectre as well, but it feels like even though VP is getting a lot of the meta heroes banned out against them, they're still getting what they're comfortable with.
yeah, I like what Secret have done here, though. This is a really good 3-4 to go for. Just teams have been building drafts off of this throughout the tournament so far. It was one of these things that was kind of milling about in the rumors before TI of just how ridiculous this combo was in scrims, and we saw it, and we're blessed with this whole tethered gyrocopter attack, flat cannon, IO hitting for 160 on every single attack that gyrocopter throws out too. It definitely gets a bit ridiculous once IO hits 15 with the Aghanim Scepter and can just help accelerate that farm so that you get to that point.
Okay. Well, we have talked before about the answer of Morphling against Gyrocopter. Feels like it might be a bit too greedy with the Spectre in play also, but we have occasionally seen it out of the mid lane. Is there anything that you feel like would be a better fit that might sort of... What is it that Virtus.pro really need in their draft now?
I'm not sure if they're really set on something good for Pasha. Like, I could see Pango being picked here. I feel like he has a lot of AoE control, and they don't want to get banned out. But they go for that's a Pasha Shadow Demon. Okay, so we'll be Pasha's hero. But I like that. That's very good setup out of the off lane for Chen rotations. It's pretty good setup just for Disruptor stuff, too. You can just follow up like a Static Storm.
A mid Shadow
I
Demon?
don't think so. I think it's going to be Pasha playing it.
Okay.
It's definitely something they've done in the past. It's possible it could be for no one, but I think no one's just going to be on more of this DP or something.
It is a core Shadow Demon, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Wow, that's kind of crazy. So everybody's talking about the green heroes. What about the purple heroes? Show them some love.
It's true. Secret are pretty green, aren't they? They're like all green and blue. It's like Gyro, Io, Wraith King, Undying.
And the Radiant.
Wow, that's very themed. Yeah, these are some nice dark heroes on the bot, except for Chen. I don't know. He's got this bright white shirt going on.
But he's nearby like this sort of unholy aura of the Spectre too.
Okay,
so
that works out. We'll allow it.
Yeah, I like it.
Some yin and yang going on there.
Well, it is now last ban for Team Secret, And they need to figure out. I mean, what's the strength of the
Think
Shadow Demon
oh,
here?
they banned the Tinker. I thought they banned the Storm, actually. That's interesting. What's the strength of the Shadow Demon? I think he's an incredibly annoying laner. Like, he just spams out on you, and even with just any sort of help, he can kind of do whatever. Like, I don't think the Disruptor is going to be going with the Spectre because it's probably going to be too weak of a lane, right? Because Disruptor's pretty weak overall as a laner. So it's likely that the Disruptor needs someone who's super strong to lane with, and the Ench is already banned out. The Pugna was banned out. So they're probably just thinking about this other, like, really strong and annoying lane hero who can just kind of bully a lot. And they can just go for disruptions, and then use the illusions for some damage. They can stack on Soul Catcher and just keep punch, punch, punch. And if you want to try and bring your strong lane there, that means they're drawing attention away from the Spectre. Storm Spirit? No, TA. Okay.
Wow. Well, it is definitely a hero that can make a lot of space early on. It does feel like you're gonna maybe want to spend a little bit of time farming, and of course I always like to talk about Shadow Demon's potential for stacking up jungle.
Yes.
If he's in the offlane, you can probably stack up those ancients for the TA a little bit.
Now is the time.
Mm.
So Team Secret, they have done pretty well in terms of their pressuring heroes, so things that can try and slow down the Spectre. They only have 15 seconds left here now, and they need to find an answer in the mid lane, assuming they don't want to do an Eye of Gyro. And someone who is going against the TA, it will be the Ember Spirit. So this is what we are expecting in the last game for the 10th pick to try and pull that to a victory. But it will be brought out now. The answer that Secret have fallen back on time and time again. We'll see if it can do it for them in this one.
Wow, those are some cool little swords that mid one has too. They look like hooks, Do you remember Cabal from the Mortal Kombat series?
Oh, yeah.
That's sort of what that looks like to me.
I'm all in the Mortal Kombat. It's looking good. We could use some more Mortal Kombat heroes, I think. We got Storm Spirit, We got Raiden down here for solo.
There it is.
So that's fine. That'll do.
Yeah. Yapsor is a punching bag. It's all good.
All right. Well, we'll see who gets the fatality in this one. It was pretty simple for Virtus.pro previously. And I think Team Secret's... I like this backbone of the Eye of Gyrocopter. I was impressed by it so far in the games where I have seen it. We'll see how Fada does if it is indeed him playing it in this kind of like aggro sort of a lane. That'll be a little bit curious.
Yeah, I guess that they're thinking that they just want to really bring the pain to Ramses if possible, and try and keep this Spectre having a bad game. If you get the first pick, you need to be able to punish that coming out of the bat, and I think they have the heroes to do it.
At least you get a little bit of time now. We've had these little brief kind of like strategy. It's like the new strategy time at TI. As the draft ends, there's just a little bit of a breather, and then we go straight into the game.
Definitely.
I think it's mostly just for admiring the cosmetics. There's lots of time here to be looking at these things and go like, oh yeah, I do need that Shadow Demon head. That does look really cool. Oh, I want to be Raiden.
It's golden. It's beautiful.
Yeah, no, and don't be so hard on yourself, man. You're great. It's okay.
Oh God, I didn't see that. Well, it's fine. Everybody feels that way from time to time. But as we hop into this game number 2, Secret versus Virtus.pro, I think that a lot of questions will be answered today for Secret. I like this draft from them more than the one that I saw last time around. I feel like they have identified the problem that Virtus.pro's draft brings up, and now they have the pieces in order to try and solve it. Now it's just going to come down to play in a lot of ways.
Well, quite the maneuver up top here. The 4 heroes from Virtus.pro. No one branches off here. And it looks like Fada is indeed chilling on this gyrocopter in the off lane. Plenty of regen between the two of them, so they are looking to battle and see if they can create some space for mid one.
He came out with the Sage's Mask. It's the answer, so I guess you can get the Ring of Protection at the side shot.
Fada making the plays.
Not often that we've seen the off-lane gyro, but it does really feel like the meta right now is just, it doesn't really matter all that much, which lane you send those heroes to. Like, it's not that much different from the safe lane nowadays. But it is Roger taking Pendants level 1 just to get that extra bits of harassment out.
Not sure how I feel about this Wraith game. I'd be curious to watch it for Ace this game. I think... Oh, Ramsey, yeah, that was a bold move with no supports. Back he goes. Oh, it was a bait.
Yapsor takes damage.
Man, that hurts. That's a lot of your regen, honestly.
Yeah, God. I mean,
Down bottom, though. Pasha gets the hurt on him. Even with the disruption, that's half his HP, too. So both sides taking some pretty serious blows.
Yeah, and it is going to be a trade-off there, yeah, definitely. So Undying and the Wraith King together against the Shadow Demon and the Disruptor. Kind of a weird one, definitely.
Yeah.
And it feels like Puppy should be able to have a hell of a time here. I mean, they're going to go for the Banishment, as mid lane still trading off CS there as well against no one.
Can't quite get the block either, so.
Yeah, Puppy.
He has gone in here. He still has a Fairy Fire, so not a real concern. He's kind of trying to like bait them low and then use the decay. Some nice Undying play here.
Turn on to Pasha. Good bit of damage, but he should be able to escape.
Yeah. This is worth if you get the kill, but look at his resources. He's just TP home. And how much did he really burn from the Dire? Not that much. I mean, just salve on Pasha. So, yeah, just curious to see this Wraith King in position 1 in the safe lane. And if he does go for this max skeletons like everyone else has been, and what item he goes for. Because last time we saw it, he went for the armlet and the blink, and it felt like he just, like, wasn't able to carry hard enough. But in this game, he has this gyrocopter, he has this ember, and Ace is more so on, like, a space maker. So I think if he goes blink, it should still be fine.
It's interesting. He's actually saving his point right now on Ace, and if he's killing off creeps, you'd want to probably see him going for the Mortal Strike, but I wonder if he's thinking about the Vampiric Aura.
Yeah, maybe just seeing if there could be some value there for between him and the Undying, but
yeah. At least for now, mid lane is where the action is going on. The Root's going to connect there onto no one, and the TA Ember matchup so far going into the favor of mid one.
And in top lane, the harass is pretty heavy here from Fada, just constantly spamming out these rockets. They're using the regen from the IO to keep it up, and they just keep the spams going. So even though there's like some vision here, it doesn't really stop you, you know. You can know where Secret are, but they're still just going to keep casting all their spells on top of you.
Definitely. Yeah.
Ramsey's just completely under the tower here now, but still getting the last hits.
Well, meanwhile, Puppy able to zone solo out of the lane pretty heavily. And he's going to go pick up an Invis rune and saunter away as Roger taking some damage. The spirits were hitting him, and now Ramses is the one that's getting into Fada's face, just daring him to come at him. They have the troll as well, so a good bit of damage thrown onto this gyrocopter, and the Fairy Fire comes too late.
Wow. First blood for a Spectre, first picked overall in the game. VP does it again. I don't know how they manage it. They go for Broodmother first, they go for Spectre first, doesn't matter. Somehow they get this hero off to a good start, and Ramses will be happy. It's all about Ramses in the end.
And, I mean, again, it makes sense that you're going to be going for these spirits to try and apply the pressure early on to this lane, but it does mean that you don't have access to overcharge, which means that if Yapsor is at full HP, he can't heal up Fada. And meanwhile, mid lane, no one getting very low Fairy Fires.
No, this is dangerous.
Oh my god. Both heroes just on absolutely nothing. As bottom lane, they are going to be able to find the kill onto Pasha. So action happening all over the freaking place.
Yeah, it does mean they're going to be out of mana once again here, but no one in the mid comes back, gets the harassment and his salve delivered, and he's right back.
Yeah. So 19-5 versus 17-3. It's the type of matchup that it feels like if there was a big skill differential, like either side could just dominate the other one, but on relatively even terms, they're trading CS.
It's also one of these matchups. Oh, mid one.
Oh!
So
oh my
close.
God.
The angles. Where are they?
Yeah, I mean, he's still in the area. He's dancing with them, and now no one pretty far under the tower. He's going to find the kill. They take him down.
Oh, yeah, there it is.
Oh.
No, I like that. No one with the respect tip.
That's good.
Very well done. That's the positive reinforcement our community needs.
Definitely. Man, and that's something. It's a big moment. You can tell that both players respect each other a hell of a lot there. 2-2. It's just about 1,000 gold lead.
I think it's actually just the anti-tilt factor. Like, you tip him first, just like pretending that all that moment really is you being like, yeah, no, it was a really good play. Like, no, yeah, go ahead, tip me after I tipped you. You know, it's preventative. Oh, and we got a little replay here too.
Jeez, and both times just a little sidestep there. He might have been outside of the range, but
yeah, no one thinking that he might have had it. But back in the main game, you can see there was a little bit of drop there, but who cares about that? Because honestly, that was such a sick play. Way to go, mid one. But
awesome. Top lane, the double stomp into the punch, into the Fata, dead again. Roger takes that one away.
Punishment for your sin.
Man, so far so good for Virtus.pro.
Yep, 3-2. Slowing down that top lane, and most importantly, just keeping Ramses very happy. He's not the very top of the board or anything like that in terms of last hits, but he practically is a net worth. He's only below mid one after that solo kill in the mid.
Yeah, and well, it is going to continue to look like a sort of stratified CS charts, as it's the Wraith King in that Gyrocopter, who are on the losing side of it.
Oh,
And,
nice disruption save down bottom from Pasha. Stops the stun from Ace and just neuters their attempt at a kill there. Puppey just waiting for that perfect moment to drop the tomb. But the Waves is a very difficult spot to actually go aggressive. They're going to try once more here. They're so close to tower though. Wow, that damage. All right, that'll do. You know, 300% crit.
I guess the other thing too is that like even the skeletons, they do a lot. These heroes obviously range. They can't make use of a stout shield. So all of those little hits will add up really quickly.
It's a very nice little pickup for them. However, okay, Puppey wanders mid. Haste Rune was left behind him though.
Oh, mid one. Second trap is there. Going to be applied. They do have an illusion rune, and again the battle of Bruin. They get the chains off, and oh, Penitence, the right clicks. He's trying to run away yet again. They do have the haunt coming in. They find the kill. Mid one goes down yet again, and now Ramses just going to get back towards the top lane. Roger and Ramses, the dynamic duo.
Yeah, they're just trying to get some farm going for Fada and Yapsource. It's scared out here by Roger. But he won't even stay to leech. He's a busy man. He's got places to be. Going to wander back over into the bottom half of the jungle. Maybe put some pressure on that bottom lane, or even just a Puppey. If he shows here, he's only level 3. Hellbear and a Centaur. I think Puppey might just be food here.
Although they are bringing in the Ember now.
No one is not there. He's
backing up. That is probably the good play as
bit of
well.
a tease from Roger, I guess, in the end.
Yeah. Mid one brought his own sentry out also, so he makes sure that they aren't going to be sitting under any traps any longer, as it is still 3-4, about a 1,000 gold lead into the favor of Virtus.pro. Mid lane, mid one pushing it out and going for the chains, just keeping the refraction since it's off of him.
Yeah, and Roger's just bullying. He just comes into the neutrals there, and he's just zoning out Fada. So Fada's not up near the wave. He can't even farm his own jungle. He's pointing to where the ward is from Roger, and he's correct. But Roger's just staying. He's not going anywhere. What does Fada do? He's starting to fall behind his other two cores. Just has to abandon their top lane. This is a Spectre. Look how much space Spectre. Where's the closest Radiant hero? He's down here. Spectre owns all this.
That's kind of crazy. This is the perfect game. And again, first pick Spectre. Like, this is exactly what you want out of this hero. It's going to be a very tough time for Secret to try and get back into this. And again, it's not as if they're that far behind right now, but you anticipate being ahead, particularly with an Undying in your game.
Yeah, and so the question that we beg to answer is, like, what are they getting in return? So they're getting some gold on top of this Gyrocopter, getting some levels on the IO, and that's going to put some pressure onto these relocate plays in combination with mid one. He's going to have to be very active. Maybe he can try and get in towards some bots and kind of play a bit greedier, not have to stop by for treads and everything.
I mean, I guess it should also be noted that we've seen this before. The other game, Aggressive, was playing on the Gyrocopter, and he was able to get absolutely out of control, because when you combo it together with the IO, you get those late-game talents, and IO does become a damage dealer, and we've seen Yapsor get there as well. So it's not like it's a foregone conclusion that if it's late game, it's just over, but Spectre's scary.
Yeah. But even Fada coming in now, Roger's just leeching some of this experience, hanging around. And that is something that Yapsor especially desperately needs. You know, you want to get to level 10, you want to get the talent. Man, look at that damage even.
Yeah, every time. They just run up to him, and obviously the TP's coming in now. They want to try and get this kill. The root, it does connect. And that will be a dead Roger, as they will take all of the creeps with them.
All right. Did not get unlucky with the 3 units being there. That could have been bad.
That would have been tragic. If you make that many rotations and you don't even find the kill onto the Chen, it feels real bad.
So now Ace has made his way up top. He does not currently have a point in the ultimate, but just hit 8, so it is available if he wants to slap one in there, maybe hold it for a bit. And then the question is, like, what is Pasha doing in this game? You know, you get this off-lane Shadow Demon. The nuke potential is absolutely absurd. He's currently thinking about going in towards a Spirit Vessel after his Urn. And then the Aghanims has been a pretty standout item for the hero too, but initiation onto Ramses, but they can't really chase.
Yeah, not level
so
6
low, and
yet
look, they
for
can't even
Fata.
commit for that.
Yeah, it really hurts. No level 6 on Fata. They might have gone for it then.
For sure.
And even if they didn't, they have Haunt available, which, by the way, bottom lane, they could think about popping this one onto Puppey, who is just standing there and taking it. They TP in the Gyrocopter, and it looks like Puppey will live through that initiation.
Yeah, Raindrops to the rescue on that one.
Well, top lane Ace is here again. And yeah, you'd love to be able to see some more pressure, but not having the levels on that gyrocopter, the hero that's supposed to be getting active early.
Okay, mid one's here with an
Art's so
arcane
bad.
rune though, and he's ready to go in. They know they got to make plays here.
He is in really deep. He doesn't have another remnant out. They've got him caught. Solo's level 6. Mid one just ran into hell and is going to get punished.
Yeah, he definitely overestimated the arcane rune. He's like, yeah, I'll be fine. And then he didn't even up for Ebola.
Oh, wow. And then Ramses is back also. He's going to get sent back home and then can TP back to a lane, just keeping up that farming efficiency. VP are firing on all cylinders right now.
Yeah, they really are. They've been looking extremely good in both these games.
Ace, top lane, got the pendants down. They're back again. You miss me? Ramses is here, and even though the skeletons are coming out, it's just going to be more food.
And there's no relocate yet because they don't have these levels. Oh, they just got on the Yapsor actually. All right, and they have the call down. This might be their moment.
This is the turnaround here as well. They do have the tombstone back up in 5 seconds as well. If they can kill off Ramses the first time, it could be solid as Pasha is going to get stunned. The missile connects onto Ramses, but there isn't any more follow-up.
Oh, it's so close. That was like the perfect moment. They had just got it from the Ancients and from mid, but they still can't follow up with a kill. Could have been so huge for Team Secret. And now with them relocating back, they're going to smoke up and go on the aggressive hunting puppy.
I mean, he does have a level 3 tombstone. This is some scary stuff, and he got it off before the disruption is there. So the double change, the initiation for mid one. Ramses is in the middle of all of this. This is a bold move by the Spectre, almost dead, but knows his limits, and mid one goes down again.
They didn't fight in the tombstone.
Oh, the play comes out. Ace still living here, and they are going to clean up at least the rest of these heroes.
That's huge. They got no one with the Yapsor. That is absolutely massive.
Yeah, and they don't have another missile here, so Solo should be able to escape. But it's still not Ramses. A big win for Secret. It's what they needed.
They absolutely desperate. You know, it's too bad that it's mid one going down because he is going for that big purchase into the Boots of Travel. But the gold spread across everyone else. I mean, you're looking at 300 on Puppy, 339 onto Yapsor, 327 onto the Wraith King, and then 271 onto the Gyro. And you can see it right there, too. I like the way they backed up, right? Like, they get out of the Tombstone range, and then they try and go for the fight because they know they're committed. But Ramses and no one, they both go inside, and the damage just quite isn't fast enough after mid one dies.
Yeah, and if they don't get this no one kill, it's so tragic.
Yeah.
But they do manage to pick that one up there, and, well, they are able to turn it back around after mid one goes down. So.
I like that Poppy had the 6 for that, too, with the Flash Golem. Like, he didn't... Sometimes you'll see Undying skip it, but he just ensured he had it at level 6 because they found a perfect fight for it with that damage amp. And he was right on top of that TA to ensure that the kill happened.
A TP in here, actually, from the Shadow Demon, who's going to go for the disruption. They
have Saxor.
Damage amplification as well. They have the Hawn out. Ace, have you gone too far, my friend? Does not have his ultimate up. The long cooldown at level 1, and he gets punished.
Now
the glimpse back. They caught Fata as well. He's out of mana. He's out of time. Fata's dead.
That was the old 1 step forward, 2 steps back, and we're suddenly right where we were.
Oh, and the tower deny. Salt in the wounds.
God. Oh, no. I didn't think it could get worse. At the very least, it is space mid lane for mid one, but oh no, he's got that defeatist attitude going on. He no longer has bots queued up. He's, oh, I gotta fight. I can't do it, guys.
I mean, he is actually still saving the gold, so there's a chance that if things go well in the next couple of minutes, he can make that change up, but particularly with this rotation now, and they save Static Storm. Mid one in some trouble. Yapsor is here for the relocate, but they could potentially break that one after the fact, and they do glimpse him back into it. So much damage. It can't come quickly enough, and Fata trying to make something of nothing. As Roger's taking a lot of damage. Hand of God comes out. Solo getting dove as well under the tower. Secret just wanting to run at him, but they again lose mid one.
Yeah, at the very least, they kind of knew what was happening, right? They're trying to protect their Ember Spirit, but a lot of vision down from Virtus.pro, and even though they didn't use a relocate, at least they're able to get a couple kills back. Well, not a couple, the 1 kill in the Chen. So, mid one once again, just throwing the body, sacrificing a bit for the team. As Pasha TP's down bottom to the Ancients with his Spectre. Oh, he has to go to the Secret Shop. Okay, fair enough. Wasn't sure if they were trying to set up a play here or what, but he's going to end up shadowing his Spectre as it looks like they'll be pushing into this tower. And Ramses very aggressively goes for these blade mail at the side shop.
Okay. It's you know, a very common pickup, I would say, amongst Spectres, but oftentimes if you have that good at a game, you just end up going for the Radiant. This speaks to what Virtus.pro want to do. Just keep dealing with the aggression that's coming from Secret.
There's a lot of uncontrollable damage here, too, from the Radiant. Just between like the Gyrocopter and the Ember Spirit, where you can't really do much other than hurt yourself if the blade mail's active.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Well, and obviously burning through the Flame Guard, which is the defensive thing that mid one has.
Yeah, exactly. It'll just reflect it right back.
They have another static storm in 5 seconds. Mid one sees some heroes. God, if he's going right into this one. Apparently he feels confident being able to take this fight. The rest of the heroes from Secret are in the area. They managed to find the stomp, but still gonna kill off Solo.
Yeah, it's a nice play. Could tell that there was no one else there from Virtus.pro. Spectre down bottom, TA in the mid, so. Just got to jump on that Disruptor. Even if he threw out the Stack Storm, then Ember would have been completely fine, I'm sure.
Yeah, well, and I think that part of it is, too, Secret recognizing, all right, long cooldowns. This is the problem that you run into with Spectre, is not being able to always have Haunt up. And it was 20 seconds away at the end of that fight. So trying to take advantage of that timing, and they do need to be a little bit careful now with Solo respawning.
Interesting that no one's opted for the Deso first, too. Just because it's relatively squishy, I would say, with the IO. Like, that's one of those prime assassination targets you look for when you play, you know, you pick this Weaver or this Clinks or something specifically against it, and so a Blink TA can often fulfill that same role. But instead, he's going to just be relying on the positioning to come out from the Shadow Demon, because you have this offlaner that can kind of set up for fights if anyone's in the wrong spot, and then Disruptor is the other major punishment on positioning in Dota 2. So just relying on the supporting cast here to make sure that no one just walks up and slaps down some damage. And he's even thinking about going straight BKB after.
Wow.
That would be a first. I don't remember the last time I saw a TA completely skip Blink Dagger like that, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, it sort of does make sense. Like, with all of the magical damage, what does this lineup of Secret do against BKBs at this early time? You used to have, like, skeletons punching people, right?
Yep.
I guess that Wraith King is starting to get into some damage, too, going for the Armlet. This is what we saw from Sylar yesterday.
Yeah.
Bassi, Armlet, and then into Blink afterwards.
I wonder if his Blade Mill or his Blink... I think he probably needs the Blink. I think he needs to just, like, be up in the face and force them to fight him, kind of a deal. All right, Shadow Blade, that'll work, too. If he's looking for a Silver Edge option here, fair enough. That's very pricey, though, so we'll see if he actually ends up going that way. But for now, with the early Deso, it does mean that you Rosh much faster here. They'll scout it out, they'll put the trap. They're not going to fully commit, though. Disruption save again from Pasha.
Nice play, but Solo's still in trouble, and with the missile on him, will eventually go down.
Very selective about their fight here. Not going to start it with the Haunt. Oh, and Solo actually has no buyback. Despite it being only about 250, the true position 6 can't even afford that. If they had it with the Haunt, they could definitely fight. I mean, they're thinking about it without it, but once again, they don't have that mobility from the TA. They kind of know that the buyback's a possibility, though, and in fact, at this point, it's too slow of a roast for them, so likely just going to end up helping Virtus.pro.
Yeah, see, that's the downside, is that they don't really have a great Roche taker of their own as far as, like, Medallion pickup yet or anything, like a Deso, and so because of that, they're going to have to wait. It does look like mid one ended up going back for the Boots of Travel, and, well, there you go. VP just going to walk in and secure themselves the Aegis.
Maybe they also didn't have a sentry or something. I don't know, Puppy's got plenty, but very difficult to take Roche up against TA without sentries. Never know if there's going to be a trap in there, but Roche falls very quickly with the help of the Medallion from the Chen.
Immediate smoke. They want to party.
Yeah, they got smoke. They got a gyro. They got Haunt. Where is it? There it is.
Have a call down, and Fata down to low HP very quickly, but still living through it. They don't quite have enough. Static Storm down onto Puppy. Ramses is taking down the Tombstone, and just like that, Secret need to back out. No Tombstone, no gyro. The trap was laid down perfectly. Ace gonna walk into everybody. He does have his ultimate up, so he can go down a second time and still be back up here as Roger trying to live. They're still living with the rest of these heroes too.
He held that for so long.
Getting punched, and no one is going to go down, but now mid one has showed up trying to take down this Ember, or rather the Disruptor, and Ace finding the stun on it, no one finding a kill. They are going to be able to bring down the Aegis one time. Can they get it a second? Everybody is so low, and Ramses just wanting to walk into this. He isolates the Apsor, but with the right clicks coming in, they are going to kill off no one.
Puppy with the Spirit Vessel too. They'll grab that kill from Pasha. But yeah, no one going down a second time is definitely a big problem. Can they chase further?
I mean, Solo doesn't have Glimpse. They got the hit as well on the missile for Ramses. He does have a missile, or rather a dagger to throw out, and Fata can't chase.
Wow, Virtus.pro, even with an Aegis, yeah, that was very costly. Losing all your momentum, you're kind of a little bit of a chip there for going deeper without being punished too easily. And how about Ace in that team fight? After a really rough game on Weaver, I think he's been given a kind of difficult one, and this like Wraith King that kind of has to be like this active brawler type, not really farming all too much. He did almost 4,000 damage to throw out 4 stuns, just constantly active in that engagement, toggling away to provide a lot of damage for the team.
Yeah, and that's the strength, I think, of just this armlet build. It allows you to stay survivable so much longer. Like, I think that Virtus.pro, as we can see here on this fight, we're anticipating taking him down, like, right at the outset. Obviously, they killed off Fata at the beginning.
Yeah, because you want to dodge the Wraith King, right? Like, you want to kill this Gyro. That's perfect start. And then right after that, ideally, you want the IO, but they're slowed down by the Tombstone. Mid one escapes, and then that great TA trap gets popped here. Slows down Yapzor and Puppey. But, yeah, Ace just kind of wanders on in. Says, all right, fight me.
He makes himself, like, you have to deal with this guy. And no one, obviously, not capable of chasing that whole way through, doesn't want to dive under the tower, and instead they want to take the Wraith King down.
Yeah, it looks like kind of miscommunication, too. Like a very split fight from Virtus.pro, where you've got kind of the Shadow Demon Disruptor up top, fighting a couple heroes, and then just TA and Spectre on their own. And we talked about how this TA, no Blink Dagger. So not really looking to fight by herself. She's trying to get a little bit of assistance from her allies here. And, well, speaking of fights, might have found ourselves another one. Oh, okay. It looks like Ace has, you know, he will help my weak and puny allies where he can. Thank you, Ace, because that's what he did in that last fight. His allies are quite weak and puny.
Is that the only, like, chat line for a hero that's in all caps?
Wraith King's all caps. That's the king, you know. King is capital.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
He doesn't do anything lowercase his whole life.
What a guy. Oh, man, an interesting build coming out from the Ember Spirit, too. He's going for a Heaven's Halberd, which is an item we've been seeing more and more often nowadays, but I think this would be the first time I've seen it on an Ember.
A little bit of survivability. Very good against Templar Assassin.
That's
certainly the main reason.
Too. We're about back towards even. I think it was a lot further ahead into the favor of Virtus.pro just a little while ago.
I'm sure it was. Ramsey's now, because of this Blade Mail first, he's now opting in towards a Manta after. Doesn't really feel like he can go back for Radiance, because then that's going to be at a timing where it's not quite as effective.
Going for the Spectral Dagger cooldown, as we've seen more and more often. One of the nice parts about the Blade Mail gives you that little bit of extra int to deal with it, and obviously the Aquila is going to give you the regen that you need, at least to some degree.
Yeah, and it's a really good Manta game too. With the Wraithfire Blast, you can dodge that, and then you also have the bolas you can escape too.
Look at this Puppey stack taking
that
we've
is
got
really
going.
Good. Underrated aspect about Undying, it is pretty costly though, just with your Tombstone being used, but it enables heroes like this Ember Spirit to farm Ancients a lot faster than they can otherwise.
And even
some skeletons, okay. That's just excessive.
Gyrocopter picks up the BKB, has drums on top of that.
Look at these backstabbing skeletons. Range creep never saw it coming. Ah! They don't know where they're going. These guys just get all over the place.
Yeah. Oh, they're all going to die now, though. Rip skeletons. Yeah, it's the Virtus.pro pressure, though, that, I mean, I don't think that they need to be as aggressive in this one. At least, like, you've still got that sort of Spectre in your back pocket, in a way. It doesn't feel like it's the same rate of farming, at least, but it does feel like if you can hold out this game long enough, Ramses will probably be able to carry you.
Yeah, but it's fighting against the Io Gyro, so I think it's like just as strong, if not stronger, than the Spectre. So I think going late, it should just be a really good game. And Ember Spirit is the X factor because he should be able to control the waves just as well as the Templar Assassin with the traps, but the traps are a lot safer. So if Minimal gets caught pushing waves, that's where they get problems. But if he's able to just keep doing this like back and forth with the TA and keep them even that way, then I would give the edge a little bit of Secret because I do think that this Gyro IO is ridiculous.
Alright, Ramses getting his Manta picked up right now, has Haunt available. If they can blow up Yapzor at the beginning of the fight, it would be fantastic, as no one going to get hit by one of the rockets. They're still waiting.
They have the mech on Yapzor. There's still no Glimmer Cape, though, from anyone.
Mid one does have himself an Remnant. The
Okay.
BKB popping. Oh, and they got to take the fight now. They jump in, and with the Haunt out there on top of them, Fata's dealing a ton of damage.
Nice
and
soul
not
rip on the
going down
tomb.
at all. They're keeping it alive. Fata down to low HP, but still living just barely.
They're so
He's
slow.
able to get away. That trap doesn't do anything at all. Ramses has the rocket on him now, too, and with nobody dead from Seeket and TA dead, this should be another core picked up.
Undying, ladies and gentlemen. That was ridiculous. No one spent the entire first like 5 seconds of the fight just hitting this tombstone, and Puppey just soul rips it, and you're like, well, we lost. There were zombies everywhere. Did you see no one trying to walk? He was just like running in place. He was on the treadmill trying to chase after Fata, and he just waltzes away, zooming around with his little helicopter.
Yeah, this is a real problem. And the BKB also for Gyrocopter, in a lot of ways we talked about, you know, what is it that Secret do? Also, what do Virtus.pro do? If the TA is dead, they really don't have that much damage through it. Doesn't matter that the Gyro had a rough lane. He's back in full force now. Secret are going to pick up 4 bounty runes for themselves, taking the tier 1 tower, and suddenly, after being behind for a while, as we see this fight here break out, Secret is a 3,000 gold lead.
It was a bit of an awkward start, right? Like, because the way we want these fights to start, it is with a glimpse, but then it's a static storm, and that wasn't what happened. It was just no one with his BKB, and they felt forced to go in.
That stun onto the Disruptor to interrupt the static storm from going down. Such a key play there from Ace.
Look at no one. Look at this. The mech comes out.
Oh, he can't do it. It's so slow.
So slow. And then Ramses as well just cannot escape. Great catch there from mid one. Just one of the best heroes to keep a fight going. Once you get one little kill in a fight like that, Ember will lead your team to victory.
Yeah. The trap does take down the reincarnation from the Wraith King, but he had it up to level 2, so it's already just about 40 seconds away from being up again. And well, VP.
There's a ward there though.
This is scary.
They did see Ace, so they're trying to camp behind this Invis rune. And that could actually spell disaster there for mid one if he tries to abuse the Invis that he found.
Yeah, and they're playing that safe. I guess they have an inkling that this is where they want to fight. Now they're moving outside of the range of the Sentry ward as well. But both teams sort of...
Puppey is the bait.
Ember just jumps in. Okay, the root hits onto those 2 heroes in particular. They drop down the Tombstone. The Static Storm is there as well. Can they kill off mid one in time? He's dropping down very low and is going to fall. Meanwhile, on the backside, they relocate in and take down Pasha with Fata and Yapsor. And as they take down the Chen as well, that's 3 heroes dead for the Ember.
Okay, Fata did his job. He's basically playing Puck this game. And if a Puck can initiate and cause 3 heroes to die, that's fine. Yeah, he can catch them on fire. Oh, sorry, yes, mid one's playing Puck this game.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, it's crazy.
Easy peasy.
I mean, he's died 5 times. Usually when an Ember does that in a game, it's bad. This game, it's working out for him.
Yeah, it is not a big deal.
27 minutes, and this Spectre still looking for the items to dominate these fights. It's a very different style from the Radiance, but the Diffusal Blade, when that comes out, it's another big power spike, because then you can just hone in on one of those heroes with the Inhibit.
Yep. Well, the Thunderblade Blade. Ace now actually getting some use here out of that Shadow Blade.
Oh my god, and they just tear apart these supports again. The missile is caught onto Ramses. Secret, if they're bold, they could go for it, but just going to instead focus down and hit this tower. They got a catapult, they're here to stay.
Bring in the Skellies.
A lot of damage, and the outspam is there from Pasha if they can start getting these stacks up. They need to be careful about how quickly they're able to get the count towards them, but the missile is going to connect, and that forces Pasha back.
Where's
as
the
tier 3 tower's going down?
Where's my IO tether? Give me my Wraith King X. No, but seriously, they get on Fata now, level 15 on Yapsor, so this tower is going.
Puppey drops the Tombstone before he's not even going to fall down. They have the heals there for him, and no one pops the BKB trying to fight. The Haunt is out as well. Puppey down low, but the Tombstone is still living throughout all of this. They're fighting into the Tombstone, and no one is being taken down slowly because Fata's on top of him, but they have the Invis. They can't get away, and Spectre's down too. No buyback, 50 seconds. A good send back there to keep TA alive, but they're going to need a miracle to hold this push.
This Tombstone is so strong. Like, you saw the focus, and now there's all these heroes. They're back, sustained. They have an IO. Yapsor surviving. All that matters. A buyback now from mid one. Easily back into it for that kill. And I think Secret might have done it here in game 2. They're finally turning on the Jets. I mean, no one can do nothing but try and lay some traps here for the inevitable push that will come to the mid.
Yeah, I mean, the plus side is that VP should have Ramses back up before Secret are ready to sort of barrel down a lane again, as mid one is trying to push this one out. But again, this is going to be a Spectre without Haunt for 100 seconds.
At the very least, these tier 2s should be enough to slow it down for the Haunt. I don't know, depending. Glyphs and everything. If you're Secret, you should probably go get Roche, right? Like,
yeah,
that fight went really well for you, but they're still kind of scary on the dark side. Oh, another Tombstone here.
Disruption onto Fata. A lot of them drop down. They have the ulti as well, purging Fata as well. Oh my god, the damage onto Solo. He's just gone again in a second. They have the Blade Mail over Ramses. I don't think he has the HP to survive through this. The chains, it hits right on the edge, and they've caught themselves a Spectre as Ace is going to walk forward, looking for the stun, looking for the kill. Dead again, 50 seconds, no buyback.
Excellent game for mid one. He has been so good on this playmaker. Just, he enables every single fight for them. You know, this is the kind of stuff that no one needed, right? In no one's game, he needs someone who's doing this sort of a play, where he's just grabbing everyone before he hit this Blink Dagger and allowing them to actually fight. but it was not working out for Virtus.pro in that way. Mid one making it so easy for Ace, as well as Fada in this game.
Yeah. And it's a 10,000 gold lead right now for Team Secret, as it has just ballooned up over the past couple of minutes. Their draft is hit in stride, and they're punishing this VP lineup as mid one smells blood. Just going to run here at Roger and never stood a chance.
No. Zero hope. And they're going to rotate right on through. Io Gyro ready with the relocate if they can spot a good fight. I will say they've done a great job making Solo a complete and utter non-factor over the past 15 minutes. You know, he had a pretty strong start. Things were looking good. Some classic Solo Dota. But then the Shadow Blades were coming through. They were just targeting him down. They know how important he is in order to actually bring down mid one, because this is a guy with no true defensive item. He has the Halberd, which in a sense is, but clearly does nothing against control from a Static Storm.
Right.
So the fact that they're eliminating him every single time is very strong. And the other hero that a lot of people are probably going to look towards, if VP don't manage to bring this one back, will be the Shadow Demon. What has he really provided this game from Pasha? He didn't get rich enough to go in towards like this Aghanim Scepter, which obviously looks pretty strong. Even with a 30% XP gain, he's still not up to level 20 or even up to level 25 with the 2 charges of Disruption, which is pretty crazy. I think that they were maybe mainly focused on this idea of like countering out the Wraithfire Blast maybe, and like these like any sort of single targets that they were going to bring forward, but it has not been that effective.
Yeah. Well, and I think also just Illusion creating with Spectre is always pretty nice as well.
Sure.
But you also didn't go the Radiance build, so you don't get that extra bit of gold income that you might have otherwise for Pasha.
Oh, now no one. Going to be forced to use the BKB here. It's just one more charge.
Oh, and they relocate on top of him. But the TP out will secure themselves the retreat. Got themselves some cheese, got an Aegis. It's all hunky-dory right now for Secret. It's actually Fata picking up the Satanic next after the BKB.
Yeah, just worried about blade mails. Only one to be concerned about on the Spectre, though. No one else able to really purchase it and be effective.
So 32 minutes, 12,000 net worth lead, 24-13. Ramses still struggling to try and finish off this Diffusal Blade. Only about 400 gold away, but all this is happening. They're losing no one. He doesn't have his BKB because he used it trying to escape earlier, and now nowhere left to go. They lose him again. Ramses also goes down in the mid lane. Right now, VP are crumbling.
Yeah.
Secret love it.
That will be no buyback. As you said, he's still just struggling for a Diffusal recipe. So what are the chances he has buyback? Well, about 0. Now, Secret won't know that, but I'm sure they'll still play pretty up here, as they do have their cheese available here onto Ace, and that Aegis on Vada.
Wow. Very solid performance here from Secret after falling behind in a lot of the other games, and GG's just called. They don't have an answer. Before the second tier 3 tower is even taken, VP tap out.
Yeah, this game was done. I think they just didn't really get that ball rolling that they were looking for with the Templar Assassin and the Shadow Demon. Ramses had the space. Maybe the Blade Mill was part of the issue. I kind of felt that way, you know, like, was it really that strong? But they had to fight. I guess Secret ended up winning those fights with the Blade Mill anyway, so does that mean you should have just sat back and tried to get a Radiance and farm that way? I'm not sure what Virtus.pro are going to think about that, but we'll see. Yeah, they want to play it in their later series, but Secret get the much-needed win. That's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, and again, you look at what their draft and what their game was looking like leading up to this. 1-4 to start all the group stages, and then they're able to pull it back, get themselves a win against VP in that one. And I would say that they had some of the tougher opponents. I think people were underrating how good Serenity really is. But
yeah, it's hard to know.
We'll see how it goes.
We'll have to watch some more of them as the day starts progressing.
Definitely.
For sure.
You know what we have next?
Who?
Mineski versus Fnatic.
Okay, a little bit of a C matchup here. The Kings of C.
I'm excited. So we are going to head to a quick break, ladies and gentlemen, but stick around because we do have Mineski versus Fnatic right after this as we continue of the TA group stages.